Janice, let's come back to our next set of edits and things to look forward to for 2025.
Absolutely. I just want to tell you, Liz, that I've known Arthur for a long time, and I was around when he first launched Your Quest Live. And I got to tell you, I never thought I'd be working with Arthur again, but he is a brilliant, brilliant man.
I
Anyways,
agree
okay. Um,
heartedly.
yeah, for sure. Okay, I know that everybody wants to get a head start on planning a powerful 2025, but how are we going to do that? The focus has to be on change, and without change, it's not going to happen. Whether you're planning ahead for your own town hall, your AGM, your employee appreciation event, your sales kickoffs, or other key gatherings, we must put people first that align with your event goals and equips your teams with the knowledge and motivation they need to set the tone for a successful and impactful year. Let's keep going. This one really
This is a big
interesting.
one.
Yeah, Oxford's word of the year of 24 is brain rot. And I thought to myself, wow, what does, where did that come from? But they say it aptly describes a year when our consumption of low quality online content and shallow conversations have been hindering human progress. I agree. Let's think of brain rot as 2024's final warning. And for 2025, let's aim to rebuild a world where we value complex ideas and celebrate intellectual effort.
I really
That's,
like that plan.
yeah, that's
Brain rot means that it's just been scrolling and doom scrolling and all the things. And I just, honestly, I feel like this is an Event Minds Matter conversation of the digital addiction of I can no longer stand in the grocery store line and actually just stand there and talk to the people around me because either I'm on my phone or they are. So there's got to be something we change in 2025.
I don't know, Liz, have you ever been on a walk and you tried to say hello to people? I usually do that. I actually say hi or good morning. And I cannot tell you, I remember being in Miami not long ago, and all the beautiful people live in Miami. And I'm going around with my daughter's dog and I'm saying hi to people and nobody's answering me. And they've all got their AirPods in their ears. And that's exactly why. They don't want to talk to you.
Right, right.
But let's
And
talk
yet we
about.
complain about the loneliness epidemic. So here we
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Exactly. So again, we're talking about color on tap. When it comes to color, it's reasonable to wonder whether they evolve or are needed. I believe it's both. I believe that, depending on your experiences when it comes to color, it really has more to do with, the things that you and your client decide should be, the story that you want to tell. And I do believe, by the way, there's that use, for example, of future dusk when you see the faux florals up in the left-hand corner. The sort of what looks to almost be a globe, that's sort of a combination of all the colors coming together that we're going to see for spring 25. Pantone's already ahead on the Mocha Mousse. You can see it now in stationery, which is actually quite beautiful and subtle. There's a photo, by the way, of the Lululemon Sour Cherry men's t-shirt, which is available now and in store and in a lot of other styles as well. And aquatic awe. I just love that color. I think it's beautiful, that turquoisey shade. And you also see there's something called transcendent pink, which is at the bottom left of your screen. And that's actually, I know it's coming out for me anyways, coming up a little bit of a not quite transcendent pink, but it is a beautiful color. And then, of course, I'm not going to call the color at the other bottom end, the cherry coated, it is called sunlight coral. So, the only thing missing here in the photos are the ray sunflowers, which are beautiful and very, yellow and feeling and maybe a little mustard. But these really are the colors on tap for this season.
I love it because Club-Ichi's not too far off of the trends. We've got our dark teal and our creamsicle. So it feels like we're pretty on point. I like it. Now I have to say that the aqua and the transcendent pink given me a little of my fifth grade 80s vibes. I remember my fifth grade teacher's entire classroom was those colors. So nostalgia, right? What's old is new again.
Absolutely. All right. So here's something fresh off the press, okay? And you may or may not believe this, but this is actual fact from the Pew report. 37% of Gen Z will gather their information on how to engage with their communities and form their beliefs by following social media influencers who walk the talk on what this generation believes matters. Now, here's the thing is that the social media influencer is changing. And when I say that it's changing, it's not, that girl that necessarily spends 24/7, taking pictures of herself and, having something out every single day that, she's interested in. It's more of a micro gathering of friends within a certain generation, let's say young people, who are influencing each other. And I find that really kind of interesting because I do believe that this is the human connection coming into play in a very different way than we've ever seen it before, is that people who are like-minded are together in micro groups and they are following each other. And I think that's a pretty beautiful thing, to be very honest with you. I also think that, not by media, not by association or educators, or opinion leaders, that we have to prioritize, these new ideas. And I think that, this is going to be an extremely hot topic going into 25.
Yeah.
I know that we have spent a lot of time, talking about building brave spaces for communication. And this is how young people will continue to communicate. And I found a saying I thought was really interesting. This is from John D. Rockefeller. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. And this is going to be great.
Nice.
Oh, this one I really, really, really love because this is also
a great image.
Generational schism. I know it sounds like skid marks or something like that, or, something.
Hey, it goes with our color of the year from Pantone.
God only knows what, right? But oh my God. Okay, so
sorry, did I throw you off?
That's okay. I love that. I love it. It's a living, breathing human response to generational divides. Human life offers us the opportunity to learn from each other, and in some cases, just to accept different ideas and empathies. And as we work together, older generations and younger generations, we are all learning together. And I read something recently that said, we're all Gen Z. And I thought that was really interesting. I'm not going to expand too much on it, but I will say that it's all in your attitude and in your mind where you want to, put your headset into. And you might, like, I'm 65, but I try and think like a 30-year-old, even though sometimes my kids don't think that. But I I am a young-minded 65-year-old, and I think it's a great thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this would agree with that.
Well, I'm going to go put back on my Skibbity Rizma shirt and be ready.
Oh, here's a good one. Mental blocks. Oh, yes. Here's what we do. We need to turn mental blocks into building blocks because there are a lot of mental blocks in our industry and they come from a lot of different places. It's not coming from one particular generation or another. But challenging our limiting beliefs in ways we have never done before, despite how difficult it may seem, is extremely important moving into 25. Conquering the mental hurdle by addressing our fears. It isn't easy, but the journey of self-discovery isn't supposed to be. And that's the beautiful part about your limiting beliefs. Start to open that door and start to look at things in a different way. I mean, we've come halfway through the decade. Now we have the other half to go through, and I think we could be doing a lot better.
I just kind of freaked out a little when you said we're halfway through the decade. Don't ever say that again. That's terrifying.
Sorry. All right, on our radar, excuse me, opening new doors to content creators who have a different voice and point of view. We must invite new voices to the table to learn about the future and how people link their identities by expressing clear views on subjects that others may not wish to talk about online or at meetings, conferences, or trade shows. Now, with Event Minds Matter, I have opened the doors to a lot of different content providers because they all have a story to tell. And those stories are very sensitive. The topic is very sensitive. But the fact of the matter is that these are different people that are coming on and speaking. And later on in a panel, this is a perfect opportunity, to take some young people and listen to them. I think we have a big, big industry here. I think we need to hear more of the majority, not the minority. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
What do
And I
you
know that
think?
our panel is actually here and ready for us, Janice. So do you have a few more of these that you really want to make sure we get through before we bring your panel up?
Yes, 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 yes. This next one I really love is called the best CEO we have never heard of. And the reason that I talk about this is that these are people who are open-minded, they listen, they teach, they coach, and they mentor. And that this kind of humanity continues to make an impact on an organization's chemistry. These are unsung heroes of a changing generation where people are a priority, where human capital is treated with acknowledgement and respect, and where people enjoy going to work. That's the thing. We want to see people enjoying going to work. This is someone who you can trust, feel safe with, and who cares about the organization's human sustainability. The one who lets go and gives autonomy to those working under them. I love this one.
I love this one too. And those of you that are Club Ichi insiders have access to our on-demand Ichi Academy classes. One of them includes Phil Putnam, who just wrote a book on this topic, and he led an entire session on performance of your team members and leading with heart. So how can you actually align performance objectives with what people are really care about instead of just trying to reward them with what the company cares about? So taking that heart, that mentorship approach, and making sure that people are cared for in their career is a really great opportunity.
So let's move on, Liz. This is one that's pretty important, the heart of the matter. The middle, they're saying, and I've read many articles about this, and I believe it from people I know in our industry, that middle management is in crisis, understanding and addressing the core issues of what is going on out there. It's often perceived that middle managers are the backbone of any organization, but it's hard to grapple with what they are dealing with and the multifaceted set of challenges that they have to cope with day in and day out. In today's rapidly evolving corporate environment, a startling revelation has come to light, painting a grim picture of the current state of middle management. A comprehensive survey, as highlighted by the Predictive Index in collaboration with HR Dive Studio ID, has unveiled that a staggering 70% middle managers would prefer to step down to the role of independent contributors if they could retain their current pay, of course. This statistic is a stark indicator of a deep-seated dissatisfaction and silent crisis brewing within the echelons of middle management. They are feeling that they have a lack of support from their senior leaders. They're on the brink of burnout. Alarmingly, 90% of people leaders acknowledge that middle managers are under significant stress. The relentless pressure to manage teams, meet targets, and navigate complex organizational dynamics is pushing on an overwhelming majority, 79% of middle managers, toward the dangerous precipice of burnout. How about the development deficit? A lot of middle managers are not don't feel that they're growing. They don't feel that, the opportunities are great for them. And that's detrimental to the stress that they're feeling. And then there's a resource scarcity. The survey also points to a tangible shortage of resources, be it manpower, tools, or support, further compounding the challenges faced by middle managers. This scarcity not only impedes their ability to perform, but also adds to undue layer of stress as they strive to meet organizational expectations with limited means.
Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. So, Liz, you've been posted. Think tanks made their debut. Look at this. I love this. The truth of the matter is the purpose and value were uplifted in 2024 because of you and Nicole. Communities that are doing this, people that are doing this, it's such a great vehicle to network and bring thoughts and ideas together. And quite frankly, this improves people's businesses. This is a networking tool, and it's a great networking tool. And, Liz, I still, am experiencing FOMO from not going on that yacht, to Croatia, because I I will always remember that you guys all went in a unicorn and had one of these think tanks in the ocean. I am like blown away by that idea. And that's why I love what you guys are doing. And that's the reason why people want to join you. So here we go. Responsible business, whether you're independent or part of a team, you have a responsibility to yourself and to the sustainability of our industry, the world, and yourself. Okay. Our industry should be reviewing best practices once a year, not every 5 when it comes to the certifications that are available to everyone. Transforming the way we educate our industry is severely underrepresented, underestimated, in need of programming that prioritizes a caring culture. Because when we look at sustainability, I'm talking human sustainability. All right, so the 360-degree survey. All I want to say about this is the way your customers interact with your brand, the way they reply, show interest, and give feedback, everything is changed. So what's the point of conducting the same old surveys when you can go fresh? You could have a suggestion box if you choose to, but maybe you ask things like, what was the purpose of your visit to this conference? Would you agree that the conference added value? What other products or services would you like to see in the future? Or where exactly did you first find out about this conference? How would you describe this conference to a friend? I think the questions need to change a little bit, maybe framed up a little bit differently, and not be so long. People do not answer long surveys, so sometimes when we hear the analytics, I question the surveys themselves and how many people really answered them.
Yeah, well, also lies, damn lies, and statistics. So you can take them and do what you want. But if you get real feedback from people, then you can actually use it to affect change.
This is a major, major, major trend. Me, myself, and I at the top. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. That came from Martin Luther King. Solopreneurship is no longer a side hustle or a temporary gig. It's a sustainable and increasingly attractive career choice. As we move into 25, the combination of flexible work opportunities, powerful AI tools, and a growing preference for independence makes it the perfect time to consider working for yourself. By focusing on your niche, leveraging technology, and continuously networking and learning, you can build a thriving business as an independent professional. Now is the time to take control of your career and create a future that aligns with your goals. The word work comes after life and ends with balance. I was working for a manager that made my life hell. I wanted to quit my 9-to-5 job so badly. Do you know how many times I hear that over the last 3 years? I don't even want to tell you. A lot.
Yep.
And a year of appreciation. A winning strategy for businesses to be ahead of the competition is to use the latest and trending techniques, thus enhancing your user experience. Now, Anka has given us so many great, ideas today, and I'm going to really leave this one to her, but it just continues on. It's staggering the amount of apps that are out there.
Yeah.
I love this fearless founders. These are the risk takers, the people who are resilient, ambitious, and they aspire to owning a legacy. Do you recognize this in yourself, Liz? Founding anything today takes persistence, commitment, passion, and vision. It is a journey with many ups and downs. This is an evolution that can unlock your true potential and journey. Fearless founders are a community of new, ambitious, and enthusiastic human beings who want to be mentored, want to be educated, and want to gather resources that enable them to be successful solopreneurs, potentially leading to entrepreneurship. I am a fearless founder. Liz is a fearless founder. And here we have the accidental influencer. This Brady Drake, who lives in New Zealand, I believe it is the 2024 TikTok Creator of the Year. And what's interesting about Brady is that she is so down to earth. And since her journey began, she has been creating, connecting, and sharing with real people on real time. And TikTok recognized that this year. So that's great. And so now we get to the end. We need to do better. I keep saying this. Anybody who follows me on LinkedIn, this is like a big one for me. It should be my new mantra. But I'm going to give you some parting words here. There are so many topics, ideas, and thought leadership in this industry. But for me, I am on a mission that has been 3 years long. And what I have to say today is this: we can do better. Those of you who know me and those of you who don't, take a listen for a moment. We can all be kindness ambassadors, or we can keep our masks on and our ears closed. We can tell others that it's not our problem. We can pretend that it is an HR problem. We can ignore the signs of struggles in the workplace. We can continue the status quo around mental health and well-being by paying lip service to it and pretending that everything is perfect when in fact it is not. The community here at Club Ichi, who Event Minds Matter merged with last August, cares about culture. We care about trust, safety, and human sustainability. It's time for your voice to be heard and for all of you to go to your association leaders and demand mandatory psychological safety training. I know some of you have tried, but not enough of you are talking and demanding change. Together we can thrive in the next half of this decade, and I am asking you again to please reach out to your leaders who decide on our destiny when it comes to education, resources, training, and certification. Let's stop the carnage and do something before we have no one left who wants to keep working in an industry that could be doing so much more than they are. The message is not just my message, but a message from the members of my community who have worked tirelessly writing the stories about those who have committed suicide, those who have fallen into deep depressions, those who are burnt out. They have nothing left for their families. A small percentage of you are doing well, but the majority of event profs in our industry are hiding behind the fear of honesty, shame, and stigma. Are you going to allow this to continue through 26, 27, 28, and 29? I hope I do not have to watch that happen, because I am more worried about people are more worried about their reputations and thinking that someone might let you go for using your voice. There is a movement called End Workplace Abuse. 2 states have picked it up, and I hope that all 50 states end up with it in this next couple of years. My word for 2025 is change. You owe it to yourself, your colleagues, and your teams to change what has been going on for far too many years. Thank you very much for listening to this.